you drop it, it's just the radio, right? It's not the visual.
Yes, no, we don't do.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they don't need to see our faces. Rhyme or free, it doesn't matter to me. It's my bad poetry. Good day, and welcome to My Bad Poetry, a podcast where we take a deep dive into our poems from youth, yesteryear, or even yesterday, always asking the question, why in the world did I write this? I'm Aaron.
And I'm Dave.
And today we have with us a fellow Ohioan who has ridden the wooden roller coaster The Beast. But before we make Dave feel too excluded, let us welcome the author, editor, teacher, activist, and a poet, Candice M. Kelsey. It is a thrill to have you on.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Wait, so you said fellow Iowan?
No, Dave. No.
Indianan?
No.
Because you were born in somewhere on the Yucatan Peninsula, correct?
Someplace with a lot of vowels.
A lot of vowels,
okay.
Yes. You have also left Ohio, correct?
That is correct. I somehow made it out.
I joked with Dave a long time ago. Ohio has a lot of astronauts because they want to get as far away as possible.
That's right. And we have apparently, I don't know how you find this out, but Ohio has the highest percentage of people who cuss.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how they know that.
But... That's amazing.
That's beautiful.
Dave, do you like amusement parks, roller coasters, that kind of thing?
You have Cedar Point. Is that the garbage place you're talking about?
No, the Beast is from Kings Island.
I have never heard of Kings Island.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm a bad person.
That's okay.
I accept that.
It was in a Brady Bunch episode way back.
Well, let's get into the realm of poetry. Dave,
Sure.
You get to share with us what you have written for this week to kind of break the ice. So what do you have?
Okay. So this is a poem called Creation. A few snips here, some snips over there. The creation is made with skill and with care, comfort and peace, plus style and grace. My cut-off fleece shorts leave a smile on my face.
Quite the volta there. Oh, we have a visual. That's great.
My son was making fun of me this morning. I have a pair of fleece pants that got burned slightly in a fire. And so I cut off the bottoms and turned them into shorts. I guess that's the end of that story.
No, it's not.
Can we stay on this story for a little while? I love the comfort. And was it comfort and grace?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, what's more comfortable than fleece shorts?
Can we double back to the got burned?
Yeah. So in my woodworking that I occasionally do, I was doing something called shusugiban, which is taking a softwood and burning part of it, and then you rub off the ash and add some oil onto it, and that waterproofs it. And as I was rubbing off the ash, I rubbed off an ember that landed on the fleece pants that I was wearing at the time, which lit on fire. It turned out okay.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Such a cultured activity you were participating in, and you came away with the fleece cut off and the poem and the woodwork.
I know. There's so much beauty created by...
I had the image of you setting off Roman candles or something, but you were doing actually something beautifully artistic.
I was trying to. I was making, I believe, a birdhouse that ended up in the fire because it was garbage and did not deserve to last.
Oh, no. I was going to say art begets art, but it sounds like both things were a disaster. So
yeah, you are using the word art quite wrongly.
Well, Candice, as we try and move as quickly away from that
to a different disaster.
Yes. you have brought with us 3 poems.
Yes.
Is there one that you would like to kick us off with? One that really speaks to you in this moment?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
The humbling thing about preparing for your show is that there was no lack of material to select. So if you wanted to do a part 2, we have plenty.
Oh,
okay.
for sure.
So
Perfect.
do you want me to read this poem?
Worms?
Worms.
Yeah, let's do it.
Lovely.
Okay, yeah, worms. I always end up stepping on one. These gray worms, stunned by masses of monsters in yellow boots. I am just as helpless under the suspended soul of life's dark cadence. Now it is over. I have stepped on one, and it wasn't even nighttime. I looked away for a moment, careless. My only wish is that they could inch back into the kinder dirt and be safe. I'd like to go with them. I pray for a new day that brings no rain.
Deep breath. Yep.
This is incredible.
I feel like I'm in a dunk tank, sitting at a carnival and just waiting for y'all to start pelting the latch.
Well, you picked some good people for that because both Aaron and I are bad at sports.
Yeah, we have no accuracy. Oh wow! Can you give us some context behind this image?
Gladly. So, I was, you would think maybe 9. I was probably 19, and walking to class at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio.
Yeah.
And the rain would bring, of course, the worms out onto the walkway. And I was struck by how people just plowed through, stepping on them, not caring, where I was dodging around them not to hurt them and occasionally picking them up and putting them back in the grass. So I thought, oh, well, that's how I feel, and mortality and all of that, melodrama. So that's where this came from. And the greatest thing I think about this piece is, God bless her, my mother read it and said, oh, you are such a good writer. So to me, that's the discerning mother comment.
Yeah.
There is no such love as a mother's
Exactly.
lie.
Oh.
Yeah.
The transition from yellow boots to life's dark cadence. It's a suspended soul of life's dark cadence.
And hopefully playing on the word soul, because we're talking
Yeah.
I thought that was sophisticated.
Very subtle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Never been done before. And this from an English major. I mean, I'm reading the greats, and this is what I come up with. So.
Oh, wow. I do love how you brought up how this sounds like a 9-year-old. Because the minute you started reading this on how the monster of yellow boots just smashing worms, it brought to mind this very kind of traumatic moment I had walking to elementary school. When I saw some kids intentionally smashing worms, and it was haunting. And so thank you for bringing that back into my life.
My gift to you, Aaron. Enjoy those nightmares tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it's beautiful. It's my favorite poem I've ever heard.
Thank you, Dave. You and my mom can talk about it.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I'm curious about. Okay, I want to get a little nitpicky here.
Sure.
You have a line break after the word "my."
Mm-hmm.
I know you're trying to remember back to a 19-year-old self, but I know sometimes a nice little enjambment in the middle of a sentence creates amazing effects in poetry. Right. I'm looking at this "my" at the beginning of a sentence, and I have no clue why that's there.
Right, yeah. And, Mary Oliver would be disturbed, of course. because she was the queen of line breaks. But what I think I was going for is the, again, sort of play on words of, I've stepped on a worm. I looked away for a moment, careless. Oh my, like my.
Oh.
Only wish is that. Yeah. But
wow.
maybe it needed an O in there. But yeah, I guess I was running off to the dining hall.
I just assumed you were going for like a wavy line to look like a worm inching across.
Oh, of course I was.
I assumed it was a concrete poem. I gotcha.
Yes. I meant that.
Fully intentional and everything.
Completely.
What I will say that I'm liking about this is the way in which normally poems on mortality use dirt as a metaphor for death, right? Like, to dust you shall return. And yet you have this lovely little twist, I'll say, where the worm's refuge is the kinder dirt.
Yes.
I think that's pretty clever.
Okay. Thank you. And, reading this, I would almost love to put my head in the dirt because it could be a kinder refuge. But yeah, Aaron, thank you. That's nice. We could say that's one positive.
That's one positive.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, you said you were an English major at Miami. Did you bring this to a class or to a writing focus group or anything? Or
thank God, no.
Okay.
Brought it to my mother. That was it.
That was it.
Yeah,
No.
I think I knew better deep down inside, and it was more just like, honestly, just horrified that worms were dying, and so I just put it on paper.
Well, this gets at like your activist.
It does, yeah.
Future.
You're right, yeah.
You can see the fledgling activist in you.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know, Dave. Do you have anything else other than that? It's a beautiful concrete poem.
Very nice.
I don't have a lot other than I will say I did giggle at the line, and it wasn't even nighttime. Like, I just, it felt like a non sequitur, but I kind of loved it there. Just out of nowhere, I have stepped on one, and it wasn't even nighttime.
Right.
Like, you can feel the pathos there.
Oh, yeah. Bathos even. Yeah, it is such a non sequitur, and it's assuming a lot of the reader to read past the second line, but also to put together that at night you don't see them, even though I believe walkways are lighted.
Right, yeah.
What an odd phrase.
How many yellow rain boots do college students wear?
Mm-hmm. Right, so that's back to you. It seems like a child.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was imagining kids being let out from school.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah.
No.
Now, you mentioned how after reading this work, how you would like to bury
that was a pregnant pause there. this.
You said you wanted to bury your head in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
In this poem, you'd like to go with the worms to the dirt.
Correct. Okay.
Well, yeah, let's do some psychoanalysis here. What were you trying to avoid as a 19-year-old?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I guess that weight of privilege of being a 4-year university. I think it was, I would say I was always a very sensitive, like I would get my thin-skinned feelings could get hurt easily. And so I think it was more like the metaphoric, here people just very carelessly harm these beings. And so too, do I sometimes feel that people carelessly say unkind or critical things that hurt me. And I would love to hide in the dirt to avoid that and yet still thrive.
Wow. Yeah.
In the soil with the minerals. I don't know.
There you go.
That totally
Also
makes
as
sense.
Okay. Also, like as an introvert, I think the crowdedness of the sidewalk versus like, I don't know.
The kinder dirt.
kinder
No.
dirt. You got it. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to either of us as straight white men talking about privilege or introversion or any of that. I don't get it.
That is not well trod ground here.
Speaking a different language. So I don't know if this was a good choice or not, but
no, this is a perfect choice.
Seems
This is a perfect choice.
it'd be a can of worms we're opening right here.
Oh,
There you go.
I love it. Now, I have to ask, so much of our kind of mythos around this podcast has been around like where we have found these, mine being from the Wolf Journal of my high school. Others have found it on binders from college projects and stuff. Where did you find this gem?
This is I should have brought it in here. It's in the other room, but I found it in a red pocket folder that has written on the top of it, "Murder, She Wrote," in Sharpie, as if I apparently, thinking I was a mystery writer or something and keeping in there all my old writings. Very tongue-in-cheek.
Okay.
But in there I have like my college applications, which of course were typed on a typewriter, and old papers of mine with rubrics, and then this that apparently my mother had kept and had mailed to me and said, "You got to keep your peace." And every time it rains, she'll text me and say, "The worms." It's out of control. Yeah, at this point. Yeah, there needs to be an intervention. But it's just a folder that I keep like old papers in that are kind of fun.
Wow.
I just assumed, being at a college in Ohio, maybe that was a class you took that was just on Murder, She Wrote.
Oh, listen, I would teach one. I could.
Right?
It's a guilty pleasure of mine, but probably watched it. It's just something I always have on in the background. I like cozy mysteries, and I don't want to freak you guys out too much, but I pretty much have seen every episode probably 500 times. Wow, it's good use of my time. I'm really contributing to society there.
That's me with about 15 different shows, so I'm right there with you.
Good. Thank you. That makes me feel better.
It's rough.
Yeah,
that makes me feel good.
No judgment. I watch video essays on movies that I have never seen. So if you consider, yes.
We need to unpack that when we have time.
Oh yeah, so that's a different project, a different day. But
I was going to say that's a whole nother podcast.
Well, we've looked at this chronicling of a murder scene.
Right.
So fitting that it was found in that journal.
Exactly.
We have two more kind of pick at here. Do you have a preference?
I like the third one because only in keeping with our motif here, this was inspired by a Murder, She Wrote episode.
Perfect.
Called
Nice.
Prediction Murder.
I love it.
Which had David Byrne, an old actor who played some sort of psychic. Predicted the death of somebody, but he was really just a murderer.
Of course.
So I love true crime, and I will say the only true crime here is the poem.
You're getting ahead of yourself, but yes.
All right. No, I'm loving the one-liners. I feel like you just have like a 40-page document of one-liners to insult your own poetry.
It's remarkable how comfortable I am being self-deprecating. In fact, when I actually do real poetry readings, I'm always waiting for somebody to insult me so I can feel comfortable.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is, I'm just going to let you guys have fun with this.
Great.
I sense the presence of a true believer. I feel it all. The hurts and betrayals and ice-cold hedge around your home. Strange, remote, yet so near. Suddenly my throat tightens. Easily solved, no consequence. The future, it's but a carousel. Don't fall. Hold on to your ledger. Go to the presence of a true believer. Go. Not strange, not remote, so near. I feel the look on his face. I see the tea is still hot. I know the ice-cold hedge choking you. Go not to the presence of a true believer. Go not. Breath is overrated. Remember that he said it would happen. You feel the epidemic of feeling, the epidemic of hurt and betrayal that goes not in the helicopter presence of a true believer, myself.
Ooh.
This one might have benefited from bongos. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This reminded me of another classic, Go Dog, Go.
Right. Where the dogs wear yellow boots.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, nice callback there.
I wonder if you'll ever look at the Go Dog, Go books the same.
No, I will not.
I don't think I'll ever look at Murder, She Wrote the same. I'm going to have to go and find this episode.
So not, dog.
Do you like my hat? No, I must murder you for it.
Right? And then we could bring in maybe Dylan Thomas. Go not gently.
Yes.
Up the tree.
Up the tree.
Why?
Because it's not even nighttime.
We have gotten so self-referential that I am losing my mind.
I think it's because of the capital G-O, go, that continually returns.
It won't go away.
Not go.
Such an imperative, so urgent, you know?
Yeah.
I need help on the most beautiful line. The future, it's but a carousel. Is that like the musical carousel, or like in a mall there's a carousel in the food court?
The latter.
Okay.
It's a carousel with the fake horses that you children ride on.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's spinning the future, right?
It's a to everything turn, turn, turn.
Yes.
Ah.
Perhaps it's a carpe diem gone terribly wrong.
Gotta seize that carp.
You got to seize the horse you want on that carousel before the other.
Yeah.
Go.
Go.
Giddy up.
Okay, so you base this off an episode.
Yeah.
So this is from the perspective of the person whose death has been predicted?
Yes.
Okay.
Very
Okay. But what is this myself at the end? Are you writing from the perspective of the person, or are you writing to warn the person? Because you're saying, don't go. I'm lost. I'm lost in this riddle.
Well, riddle, indeed. Let's see. Okay, so in the show, the David Byrne character who's predicting the future says, I sense the presence of a true believer in his psychic powers. But he ends up being the murderer. So there is a lot of blurring of who the speaker is.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's very Tiresias kind of Tiresias and Thebes, or
Love
just a bad 80s police procedural on the Universal backlot. I don't know. I don't have a real answer for you. I'm sorry.
Rude.
I'm sorry. Rude and bad.
At the end here, in the helicopter presence of a true believer. So the true believer was the one who the fake psychic was preying on, right? He trying to convince her, or I'm assuming
Yes,
it's
her,
a her, because it's a murder procedural in the 80s.
Right, exactly. Let's kill women.
Yeah. But so the helicopter presence of the true believer, is she hanging out around the psychic?
So she was in on it. I hate to,
Oh my goodness.
Spoiler for 1989.
Spoilers for
for
come
murder.
on.
If you haven't seen, oh Lord, don't even give me. Okay, she was in on it. They actually pretended he murdered her. But they actually murdered the maid. so that they could run off together. So that's why it gets a little, I think, mixy-uppy.
Oh.
And I think that's what contributes also to it's being bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So glad we agree.
So this is both a warning to the maid, who is an unsuspecting victim, and this is the person who is playing along, pretending to be victim.
Yeah, it's Clytemnestra, Agamemnon, and Cassandra all over again.
My goodness.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I never saw that before, Aaron. So I'll take it. This is not
Yes,
intentional.
you are welcome. This should for sure be resuscitated and put out there in the world.
Is that what we're going to say about this one?
No.
Okay, no.
Please, this belongs right here with bad poetry.
Back in the red folder.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like you could update it, but like set it rather than with Murder, She Wrote, just do... There's got to be an episode of Psych that this would fit with.
Oh, yeah.
Or what's the Jake Peralta? Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right.
That was a great one.
Great idea.
Yeah. Just update your character premise.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Never take advice from us, because it's always going to be that bad.
So I love that your second and third stanza that's where the go comes into play. Go to, and then go not to. And it feels like those tests in like junior high and high school where it's like they didn't expect you to catch the big bold not in the question. Right. And so they had to like bold, underline, capitalize to make sure. Every
answer except.
Right.
Right. And it was a clue in the show. It's how it was solved.
Oh.
The G-O in her ledger, go to dentist, was not go to dentist, but Greta Olson to dentist, which is where they switched the x-rays for the dental records.
Oh.
Wow.
So just a little fun fact for you.
Okay, so this poem needs a lot of context. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the next Murder, She Wrote convention you go to, this gets its day in the sun.
It does.
Yeah.
That's where it's all, I mean, maybe rhyme could make it better.
You know, I always find it funny. Almost all, actually, I'm trying to think if anyone has brought a rhyming poem other than Jasper Ford. But I mean, he's not a poet to begin with. He's an author who we just brought on because we love him. But but I wonder if rhyming almost reduces the cringe of bad poetry. Okay, Dave, you rhyme all the time.
I brought so many rhyming poems to this podcast, Aaron. What are you saying that no poet has brought rhyme? What are you saying?
I mean, no real poet, Dave.
Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
Although I listened to your Christmas tree poem on the Jared Bella episode, and that was inspiring.
That was
I know.
a good one.
I'm very talented.
But the fact that you rhyme all the time, it makes it fun and playful.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and so when we think of bad poems, it's usually like people who are trying something.
Yes.
Or playing with free verse in some way. And it because we don't have a structure to fall back on, it can go south pretty fast.
Yeah, it's like getting, I don't know, it's like being at the dentist without like Novocaine or something. Like the rhyming really softens it and makes it a little more predictable, familiar, comfortable. Whereas this, free verse with just straight melodrama there's nothing to kind of catch your fall, I guess.
Yeah. It's like those 80s procedural dramas or dramedies that would just rely on the same kind of tropes and beats episode after episode to be comfortable and easily digested.
Exactly. Well said. Yes.
Wait a minute, you're talking about Murder, She Wrote. Oh. The sarcasm you laid on was not thick enough for me.
Oh, Well, I've definitely brought the intellectualism to the show. So I do love incorporating pop culture in my actual poetry that I really work on. But
yeah, let's start talking about that. You have a beautiful book, I have to say.
Thank you.
It is very moving. I love the way you broke it up. And actually, I found it really kind of funny. I was reading this week, and it actually reminded me a lot of Kelly Russell Agaddon's The Rising Tide. That same,
thank you.
That same kind of structure and the mood of the pieces, and some of the same topics as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I love her work.
Yeah, it's a beautiful work. Is there a proper way to read the title?
Drunk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because on the back, everyone just calls it A Poet. That is the title.
Yeah, which is rather pretentious, and I actually don't like that. But okay. What else can you do with this?
Yeah.
And my newest book out has rivals the title, and that is The Poet Dreams of Driving a Ding-a-ling Ice Cream Truck and Other Means of Escape. So I've got to go back to.
I have to get this.
No,
that's amazing.
They couldn't even fit it, so they had to put it like on the side.
Wow.
So that's now shortened to Ding-a-ling.
Oh. Okay.
A poet, a ding-a-ling.
Poet, a ding-a-ling. Go with that.
That's incredible. When did that one come out? I'm sorry.
Just about a week ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Yes. Well, we will have to snatch that up.
Okay.
Yeah.
A ding-a-ling.
Yeah.
What kind of themes do you explore in that one? Because in this one, you kind of walk through, you go from a girl to a woman, a teacher, a poet. It's stages of life.
Right.
What are you doing in a ding-a-ling?
So in Ding-a-ling, it's all about escape. And, how do we escape, the confines of, for example, the pandemic? How do we escape the confines of like the political turmoil? And then just of the, mundane everyday life, like what ways do we find escape that are healthy, unhealthy? What are we trying to escape? So a lot of it would deal with, socially accepted things that we're trying to escape from that maybe aren't so healthy, escaping from childhood, escaping from relationships, and escaping from writing bad poetry, I guess. It's the ultimate goal.
There you go. So in that one, because pop culture is so often an escapist type medium, is it heavy in the pop culture references, or?
I mean, I have one about Beyonce. I have one about Chat GPT. I have a piece that deals with Chat GPT. Isn't written by Chat GPT, but yeah.
So yeah. Now, even in your quick references to your bad poetry, you were evoking a lot of Greek myth. We've had multiple other poets play with the Greek myth formula. Is that something that you teach currently? Is that a subject you're passionate about?
100%. Yeah, I've taught high school English for 25 years. And I love teaching the ancient Greeks, the Oresteia trilogy and, everything leading up to the Iliad, the Odyssey, the Aeneid. I love all of it. And so I think that I'm kind of swimming in it all day, and it just enters my psyche. And plus there's such great stories and such great characters.
Yeah.
I just read The Furies the other day.
Oh.
I was trying to remember something from it, and I couldn't remember, and it took me a long time because the only copy that I had of it was in Greek.
Oh, sheesh.
I started off going like, I can do this, I will remember. I did not remember. So I ended up buying a new copy of it.
Oh, God. Got it. Wow. Well, kudos to you for trying. My goodness.
No, Dave is that kind of nerd.
Huge waste of time.
It's not Koine Greek, Dave. It's
I know, it's actually like complicated. Yeah. I have to remember things.
I'm going to ask just because I know Dave is a huge nerd. Do you have like a favorite translator or someone you go to for the translations you teach?
Well, I've I've taught Fagles, I've taught Fitzgerald. I prefer Fitzgerald over Fagles, and I know I'm in the minority for that for some reason. No,
You
okay.
are the correct one, though.
Thank
You are
you.
correct.
Thank you. But I have recently tried to introduce the Emily Wilson because she does a phenomenal job with the Odyssey, and I think her Iliad is not out yet or is about to be out, but she did the Odyssey a couple years ago. And it's the first female translation. And the way, like, I have my students compare Fitzgerald's, Fagles, and Wilson's description of Penelope coming down from her chamber to the suitors. And it's so unique to see the difference. Yeah, I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have not read her translation, so now I have to go and buy her
Sorry.
translation.
Is that on your
No,
list?
that's perfect.
Yeah,
Just don't get it in Greek. No,
That's
obviously
awesome.
then it wouldn't be a translation. But I have so much respect for translators. I mean, I don't.
Right? Very intelligent people who I love having conversations around translated materials as to whether they're doing their best to capture those idioms and modernize, or to keep the idioms, and then you have to like really sit there with like a dictionary of ancient idioms and go, oh my gosh, this is something.
So many layers to it, my goodness.
Right?
Like a poem on Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
you need a dictionary.
I think that's fair. I think Cyclopses and Nobody and all of this fits extremely well with Angela Lansbury, right?
Totally. Well, one of my bad poems is called Nobody, NHB,
There you go.
and I didn't choose that one, but
we will have to have you back on for sure. Give us time to read your a ding-a-ling.
Okay, yeah. Wait, the ding-a-ling.
I'm very glad you added the A there rather than give us time to read your ding-a-ling.
Yeah, that one.
That's
well, the articles are important.
yeah.
For sure.
Well, as we've been mixing metaphors and so much more, much like the Son of Beast, which took you for a loop and closed far too soon, we will have to wrap up our time here today. And Dave, I don't expect you to get that reference, but that's okay.
Okay. I assume it has something to do with Canada,
Okay.
where you guys grew up.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Candice M, Kelsey, this has been such a privilege, and thank you so much for coming on. But before we let you go, we here at My Bad Poetry, we end each week with the words of a true poet. And so would you be willing to share with us another one of your poems?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking. So I think I'll read for you this poem titled Reading About Chat GPT I Miss My Brother. AI experts agree that Chat GPT is incredibly limited, but good enough to create misleading impressions of greatness. I text my brother seeing he called, our first contact since burying our dad 5 months ago, roboting together through St. Patrick's Mass, taps, steak loft small talk, grief. Did I miss a call from you? He responds, sorry, I butt dissed you, but we need to catch up, it's been too long. He corrects himself. Asterisk, dialed, but dialed. A brother's cold dismissal, cursory as pseudocode. An open AI variant, Chat GPT, can carry a conversation, answer questions, challenge assumptions, even admit mistakes. My brother follows up, are you around this weekend for a FaceTime? The CEO of an AI startup explains there is so much work to be done on robustness, truthfulness. Many critics find the technology a little more than a parlor trick. Sunday is open, I reply. Hope all is good. When the doctor ordered palliative sedation, my brother flew out that day. I could not. I am fading so fast, our father's final words.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. I really wanted to demonstrate the disconnect,
Yeah.
and the limitations of conversation and language and how that parallels with all the AI stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I love going between the beauty of technology in which we can communicate over vast distances,
Yeah.
but also butt dialing people. Like, it's
Hmm.
so extremely complicated and yet so simple that it just doesn't always function.
And the
Well said.
and the autocorrect itself being kind of an algorithm that's making assumptions and writing for your brother.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Thank you.
oh yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
I love it.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it makes me think of like my two older sisters and the many times that we just like kind of misconnect
Mm-hmm.
and always have another day in mind.
Mm.
It's such a human experience, and it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so that final image of our dad is both uniting us and separating us, as
Right.
technology does.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. So that's in your new work,
Yes.
which just came out this week.
Yep.
That's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to be a downer, but
No, not at all. That's the risk we take when we
Yeah.
open the doors for real poems, and I love it. This has been My Bad Poetry.
now go and write some of your own bad poetry.
No, poetry isn't supposed to make you feel things. It's only
Right.
here for me to mock, right?
Exactly.
Dave, we've been doing
Mock
this show
you.
too long. Rhyme free doesn't matter.